Hey guys, it's Jessica from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with a video I'm really excited to do because I did this with a different author over a year ago and I really loved doing that video, and I've been meaning to do it for Colleen Hoover and I haven't, and that's if you liked this Colleen Hoover book, you would like this other romance. I think we all know Colleen Hoover has been blowing up on Book Talk, at Barnes & Noble. She's on the bestseller list. She had like 3 or 4 books hit the bestseller list again, and I love Colleen Hoover. I've loved her for many years and it's making me really excited that she's seeing all the success and people are discovering her books, but I want these people to pick up other romance books as well. So if you're here because you love Colleen Hoover, welcome. I have some new romance recommendations for you that I'm very excited to give you. So I'll go ahead and get to my recommendations. They're either similar to these books in plot or in like themes or emotions. I feel like a lot of these match the similar vibes that these books by Colleen have, and I feel like it's hard though to recommend books that are like Colleen Hoover's books because so many of hers are so unique. Like I cannot even give you a recommendation for something like Verity. That's not going to be in this video. I've not read anything like that book, but I have some for 7 of her books, so I'll go ahead and get to it. The first one I have is Maybe Someday by Colleen Hoover. This one is one of my favorites. It heavily revolves around music, which I absolutely love. There's a soundtrack for this book, and we're dealing with characters who are going through a lot. Our heroine realizes her boyfriend is cheating on her with her best friend. She moves in with our hero. Our hero cannot date her for a specific reason, so it's really they cannot be together. It is a forbidden romance and it's so emotional. I absolutely love this one, and they really connect though through their work. If you love that, I'm going to recommend Real by Kennedy Ryan. This one, our hero and our heroine are working on a movie together. Our hero has been burned in the past by falling for an actress in one of his movies, and so he swears them off and he's never going to cross that line again because it's still coming back to haunt him what happened with this person. And so he finds our heroine in a production and she was the understudy, and he's like, that is going to be my actress for this movie. Like, she is the perfect person to play the lead. Please be aware that this does heavily deal with a character who is ill, but our hero really starts to like her, but he is so standoffish because that can't happen. She is playing the part of a famous singer, and so there is also a lot of music in here. We see the lyrics in here, and I guess in the audiobook the songs are actually sung in the book, which I think is really cool. I didn't listen to the audiobook because I read it right when it came out, but I'm really excited to go back and listen to the audiobook. I think just like the whole atmosphere is very similar to Maybe Someday, and it's definitely a more taboo romance because he's the director, she's the actress. People are going to think she only got the job because she's sleeping with him if people find out that they like each other. So I think these two pair really well together. Then I have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This one is one of her most beloved books. It is very, very emotional, though that's a spoiler to say why it's emotional, so I'm not going to say why. But our heroine's a nurse. She moves in with her brother and falls for her brother's best friend, who also lives across the hall. He's a pilot, and it's very emotional. We get chapters from the past and the present of things that happened. He is very damaged, is what I will say. If you like this, I think you would love The Culmination of Everything by Christina C. Jones. Our heroine ends up going on this trip to the mountains, and it's because she is grieving over something, and she ends up getting into a little bit of an accident on the mountains, and the hero is actually one of the park rangers. I don't remember the title they used for him, and he is so angry at her. He's like, you're just another ignorant person putting your life in danger, putting our lives in danger because you're trying to do things you don't know how to do on this mountain. And they really get off on the wrong foot, but they are so attracted to each other. It's really like a lustful, hateful attraction, which is very similar to this attraction where they are refusing to let it go any deeper. It's just a very much friends for benefits kind of thing. The hero is hiding something that is really still damaging him, and I think it's more so the heroine in this. She's really recovering from something that happened to her, but it's that hate to love, but just so we really like each other physically kind of romance. So I think you would really enjoy this one. It's definitely very emotional like Colleen's books are. I think if you like Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, which is her new adult really romance, our heroine is like college aged. She has been really working to support her and her mother because her mother's not really that great of a mom, and at the beginning her mother actually passes away, so she goes to live with her dad who lives in this beach town. I don't remember if they live there, it's like a vacation home, but she goes to live with her dad and his new wife and her stepsister, and she really falls for the guy living next door, and it's really a summer of falling in love, self-discovery, figuring out secrets of people who you can trust and not trust. And I think if you really like that whole summer love kind of thing and really learning about yourself, you would enjoy Weightless by Candy Steiner. Our heroine, it's the summer, I believe, before she goes to college, and she feels like she has to lose weight. She just got out of a relationship and he made really rude remarks about her weight, and so she gets a personal trainer who is this really mysterious guy in town town who has a past that a lot of people like whisper to each other about, and he's damaged and he is older, and there are like rumors going around that he sleeps with his older clients, like women, and it's their romance together. She does go through a lot of self-discovery and self-acceptance and love in this book, and I think that if you really like those themes, they're very similar in the two of these, and they're both around the same age. It's summer. You should definitely read this one if you enjoyed this one. Then I have All Your Perfects, which is one of my favorites from her. It's a marriage and trouble romance. It's very, very emotional. I cried in this. I really enjoy this one. I really love a good marriage and trouble romance, and if you like this, I think you should read one of my favorites, Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. This one is another marriage and trouble romance, and they both do have to deal with infertility, so please know that before you read these books. But this one actually is a little different than All Your Perfects because this is a amnesia romance, and so we do, like, I think in both of them really look at how their relationships were in the beginning and how they were madly in love, because this one we actually get flashbacks to when they fell in love to now. In this one he gets amnesia and forgets the past 5 years. I think he forgets like an amount of time, and so he doesn't even know that they are on the brink of divorce. He thinks that they're still madly in love with each other, and he actually had cheated on her. I know a lot of people have a problem with that going into this book and could never forgive him for it. They explore that together in here, so do know this has cheating going in, and if it's not something for you, you won't like this. I'll just flat out say that. So I know a lot of people have been reading it and hate cheating and don't like this book, but he did cheat on her, and they explore that scene and her figuring out what happened and why, and he has to reconcile with the fact that he completely blew his chance in their marriage by cheating on her and why that happened and how to win her back. So very emotional. I love the whole amnesia aspect of this. Definitely a marriage and trouble romance, just like this one, so you should read it. Then I have Confess by Colleen Hoover. This one is not my favorite of hers, but I really do like the aspect where our heroine's a single parent and she gets a job and it has to work with this guy. He's an artist, and she just like randomly gets to work for him, and he makes art based on people's confessions. I think if you like this, that you would enjoy Forbidden by Carla Sorensen. I love this book so much. Our heroine works at a gym, and she's definitely more hardened out of all of her sisters. This is book 4 in the series, and they're all about the sisters. You can definitely read it as a standalone. I did. I went from book 1 to book 4 because I was really excited for this story, and the hero is the new owner of the gym, and so it's a workplace romance just like this one, and instead of the heroine being the single parent, in this one the hero is a single parent. He had lost his wife, and he still very much grieves over it. He's raising their child by himself. He was just madly in love with her. They married really young, and now he is very just hardened and stoic, and she actually used to be a fan of his. He's an ex-fighter, and she would have like his posters in her room, and now she's like working with him as an adult, and she definitely tries to like tread carefully around him, even though she's like super into him, and it's their romance, and I really, really love this one, and I think that that kind of parallels the characters and having that workplace romance and just an emotional past. So I can't spoil what the emotional past in here is, but I definitely recommend this one. My all-time favorite by her is definitely It Ends With Us, and this one has to do with a very emotional romance that is not the main romance in here. The main romance in here is very hard to read, and I just love her romance with Atlas though, and so in this one, because of that romance with Atlas, I would recommend Archer's Voice, which is another very, very emotional romance. And this one, our heroine is new to town and meets Archer, who is the town recluse. He just lives alone. He doesn't speak, and the romance goes from there, and I just love the emotions behind this romance. And I think if you want those same vibes between Lily and Atlas, I think you would really enjoy Archer's Voice. It's not the same like second chance kind of thing, but I think what they go through in the beginning and reconnecting, the beginning of their romance and then reconnecting, reminds me a lot of just the heartbreaking nature of Archer's Voice, so I think you would really enjoy that if you like this one. And the last one I have is November 9. This one, our hero and heroine, they meet every day on November 9 after spending a really great November 9th together, and we only see them on that date. If you like this, I think you would enjoy Say You Still Love Me by K.A. Tucker, and this one, it's a second chance romance, so that's why I'm connecting them, because this one we go through them years meeting and then finally being able to have their happily ever after. I think that you would enjoy this one because we get flashbacks of them at camp and falling in love, and then being torn apart and then being back together. She doesn't know why he just ghosted her basically, and she was heartbroken over it. And now she's working for her father's company and he's a new security guard at one of the buildings, and he doesn't really say anything about knowing her, and she's like, oh my gosh. But then they reconnect, and I think that whole reconnection, seeing how each other have changed so drastically after the last time you saw each other, you would really enjoy this one. It's not the same in the sense that they meet year after year, but they just meet years later and try to reconnect, and I really enjoyed this one. So I think if you like this one, you would enjoy this one as well. And those are my recommendations for if you like this Colleen Hoover book, you should pick up this book. Let me know if you've read any of these and you see the connection, or if you have any other recommendations for any of these. If you have a recommendation for Verity, let me know. I'd love to see that kind of connection, because like I said, I've never read anything like it. Same with Layla, I haven't read anything like that one either. So if you have any other recommendations, please let me know. And that's all I have. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day.